Being an entrepreneur in Gainesville is not just about running your company and going crazy with it. It is about running your company and turning around and helping another entrepreneur in the area, on something that you've learned. There's always going to be somebody who, could use a little bit from you, even though you're still trying to figure out where you're going to get funded, where you're going to get your customers from, etc. So please take that to heart. If you're an entrepreneur in Gainesville, your job is to help other entrepreneurs in Gainesville.
I'm Paulo da Silva. I'm one of the software engineers at Grooveshark, and I'm in charge of hiring and training new developers. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Grooveshark University and what it was. So if I had to give one sentence to explain what Grooveshark University is, it would be a semester-long series of weekly talks about cool new technologies given by one of the Grooveshark developers. You may be asking yourself, well, what's in it for Grooveshark? Why would they do that? Well, there are two reasons. One, we're cool like that, we do that stuff. Two, turns out it's a really good way to find good developers. The kind of people that want to learn a new technology because they want to, not because they have to, are the kind of people you want to work on your products. And the third reason is what we wanted to do was get smart developers that had a cool idea and then provide the resources they needed, except money, to turn that idea into a prototype or a product, and then maybe a company would come out of that product, a cool company. Well, what's in it for Grooveshark? Well, if we have cool companies in town, we have a lot of developers that get attracted to those companies, and that makes my job a lot easier. So that's kind of the reason why we did it. That's
the idea behind the app is called Localite. The idea was to take aggregate, non-site specific social networks and social media and to make that distributed and site specific. This was a first interface design that I drew up. What we wanted to do was have you able to access content such as video and photographs of stuff that had happened specifically in your community that week, and you would be able to vote or rank or somehow approve of or disapprove of this content.
All right, so this is Rain. Rain is a online real-time strategy game. You can play it on any mobile device, Android, iPod, iPhone. Also, you can play on the PC. There's a PC interface as well. And basically, it's a massive multiplayer game. You start the game by picking a modern-day nation like Italy or North Korea or whatever, and you join this world with up to 230 players. And it's just one world, and you interact with each other. Here's some screenshots of how it looks on the mobile interface. That's this is the full interface here. This is what it looks like on the iPad and also on the PC. It has a chat and so forth where you can kind of communicate with people, set up trade patterns, and form alliances and so forth.
And at its basic level, it's pretty much Wikipedia, but for bands and other musical artists. And pretty much what I realized is whenever a friend tells me about a new band, I go to Google. And then from Google, I open up like 12 sites. I open up MySpace, I open up Last.fm, Grooveshark, YouTube. And next thing you know, I have 12 tabs, and it's very frustrating. So pretty much what I wanted to do was have a central hub for all this content in one thing. So I looked at Wikipedia, but I realized no one would want to re-upload all this content. So what I decided to do was to use the APIs provided by Last.fm and MySpace and YouTube and Grooveshark, and pretty much put it in one central thing in a slick layout, and all the content's there.
This is a screenshot from the first level of the game. It's actually, I don't know if you guys have heard of Castlevania, it's an old Nintendo game, but Castlevania is serving as like the structure of the game. You're playing as this character right here, which is Princess Zelda. That's why I call it Zeldavania, because the first character is Zelda. So here's some bats that are enemies that you can attack. I wanted to show you guys a live demo, but unfortunately it wasn't possible. So you can check it out on my website later at some point. Two enemies I have in the game so far are bats, which usually do that, and the cats, which go like that. You can jump on them, kick them, or shoot them with balls right now. So, and coming soon is fireballs and ice.
So we are currently in the App Store, and you can go to raisethevillage.com, which is our website, and download from there. We're a free application, and you can pretty much do your own subscription as to what you want to donate to this village. You can go through iTunes and donate as little as $1.99 or $19.99. It all depends on what you want to do. But like I said, anything that you purchase within these buildings represents something we deliver. So whether it's food or supplies or medical supplies, it's all very important to these villagers. So we're trying to make it easy to to donate whenever you want and however you want. So our main goal in this now that we've finally launched is to keep these updates going, keep it exciting and fun, and get as many users as possible. So we all hope that you log on and download.
My name's Augie, and I'm CEO of a company called Trendy Entertainment. So what do? We make video games. Ever heard of them? Yes. Who plays them? I want to see hands. Who plays them? 2 people play video games. That's not true. Literally 80% of the population play video games. So you bunch of liars. I don't know. Okay. So what are we doing here? We make video games, and we have gone and tasted the poison of mobile apps. And this is an example of it. Not only just for iOS, iPhones, iPads, but Android, Xbox, PS3, PC, etc., etc., etc. Why? Because it's a lot of fun. And if that's not enough reason, then okay, you can make a lot of money at this. Alright.
Hello. How many of you already use Grooveshark? More than play video games. I don't believe that. I'm with Augie on this, actually. So for those of you who use Grooveshark, what we're going to be talking about is the new version. But first off, for those of you who don't know Grooveshark, it's basically YouTube for music. So if you think of YouTube, it's the place you go to play any video you can think of, to share any video with your friends. That's what we're trying to do, but for songs. So you can also think of it as iTunes, but in your browser. There's a million other elevator pitches that I could give. But last week, we abandoned Flash for the most part. So the developers in this room already know that we didn't get rid of it entirely. It won't work on your iPad yet, unfortunately. But we spent the past few years with a Flash-based interface. Again, a lot of non-technical people in here, so I'll try to keep that to a minimum. But it made Grooveshark slow. So now Grooveshark is a lot faster. If you haven't used Grooveshark yet, it's a good time to try it out.
I'm Ethan Fieldman from Tutor Matching Service. 3 quick things about Tutor Matching Service. First of all, we are a Facebook app. We do what the name implies, which is match students to tutors. The second thing that Tutor Matching Service does is these tablets. The iPad is the one you think of, but the iPad doesn't have a webcam, unfortunately. However, the HP Slate comes out. We get ours first 2 in 2 weeks, even though they're back ordered. We get some in 2 weeks, and lots of tablets are coming out that are as good or better than the iPad, in our opinion, that have cameras built in. All of a sudden, the tutoring experience across the world, across the US, or across Gainesville is going to change dramatically just in the next couple months. So instead of needing to have a tutor in the same geographic region, which you've needed for the past 5,000 years, all of a sudden you'll be able to actually find a tutor anywhere else in the world and have a very good experience doing it for once. So that's number 2, which is online tutoring, and we're a market for that. Number 3, and probably most importantly, is our featuring and promoting and most importantly matching the right tutor, the right student. If you think about a university, like you guys are UF students and Santa Fe students, if there's a tutor on campus paid for by the university or paid for privately, and there are 2 students waiting for that tutor, how do they get matched to that tutor? The answer is availability, or whichever tutor's first in the queue. There's really no work being done as far as matching the right student to the right tutor, and any professor will tell you that certain students match up differently with different tutors, and people match up differently in general, as I'm sure many of you know.